More music.
Oh my God.
Here goes.
Blazing across the airwaves right now. Get ready.
Now this is Freddie McGregor, and you're tuned in to the baddest rhythm of all time.
Grant's Rock Warehouse is trying to change the world, one track at a time.
Are we on the air?
Yes, you are. More music. More of the time.
Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Don't understand what's going on here.
Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight we are live. We are going to rank the albums of Jane's Addiction. We've got a large panel, got a lot to talk about. We will get through it. We want to hear from you in the chat. Let's do it.
Grant is trying to change the world, one track at a time. Grant's Rock Warehouse is keeping it real in the field.
I'm just feeling and keeping it real and all that good stuff. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. We've got...
Sorry.
Uh-oh. I heard a echo. All right, we've got John the Music Nut. We've got Brian McFadden. We've got Webb. We've got West Coast Dave. We've got Tom Curlis on the channel. I can't remember. Tom, have you been on here before? No. Or is this your virgin? We did something. We did the guitar show.
Yes, we did. Yes.
Tom's been here. Shit, he hadn't been here for a while, but I'm going to get Tom on here more.
Yeah.
Because damn it, why in the hell not?
Curtis Mania's running wild, brother.
A lot of times I just get going on these shows and, you know.
Yeah.
It's a machine, ladies and gentlemen. It runs on its own. But anyway, these gentlemen here, and we are going to rank, and this is kind of a big panel to rank, but we're only going to rank the studio albums. So we only have 4 albums that we're going to deal with. And I think what we'll do is we'll do 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then 2, 2. We'll do 2. 2 at a time. Keep it concise. And I will throw the graphics up. So if you don't know Jane's Addiction, you should know them in the recent news because they had that big on-stage battle. Dave Navarro and Perry Farrell. Yeah, that kind of was a drag. And now there's a big lawsuit. So what a great time to do a ranking of Jane's Addiction. So that's what we're going to do. So this band did form in 1985 by Perry Farrell, Dave Navarro, Eric Avery, and Stephen Perkins. So they blended like punk, metal, funk, psychedelia. They've really combined a lot of different genres into one package. So we're going to look at it. We're going to look at the 4 studio albums, and we're just here talking music. And the whole goal here is to turn you on to stuff and just talk music, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to go as I see it. I don't know who is here first. I'm just going to go start out with John the Music Nut and go over to Brian, Webb, West Coast Dave, Tom, and myself. And we'll just do 2 records and we'll just do it and let us know what you think of these records. And everyone in the chat, I want to know too. So I wonder if we should do... No, we're just going to do a straight ranking. All right. John, take it away. What is your first 2? I guess your number 4 and number 3.
Oh, okay. So, we're going to go from the bottom to the top. Okay.
Let's go bottom to the top.
Okay. My number 4 is their 3rd album, Strays, from 2003. This was the band's first album in 13 years. In the meantime, all the guys were doing different things. Perry Farrell had Porno for Pyros, and Dave Navarro was in Red Hot Chili Peppers for a minute there. So on this album, the band went from art rock more into hard rock. They got Bob Ezrin to produce. Bob Ezrin is a wonderful producer. I don't think his style works for the band here. Now, 13 years have gone by in between albums at this point. This album, the art is going away from the art rock, although they're still trying to be creative. It's not as cohesive as it was before, but there are still a lot of good songs. One thing about all of these albums is they all start out hot. True Nature's very driving. It's got a lot of distortion in the guitars, a lot more distortion here than you had on those first 2 records. Perry's vocals are double tracked on here. You don't have that organic feel that you had before. It plays like a bit industrial sounding, in my opinion. Mellower in the bridge, but it's a good opener. The title song is very, very good as well. It's got the driving bass line on here. One thing about this album that you really notice is the absence of, oh gosh, now I'm forgetting already. Eric Avery. I was about to say Stephen Avery.
That's all right.
Yeah, thank you. When Eric Avery left, I think they lost what really made them distinctive. You could say Perry's vocals, and maybe Perry wrote most of the songs, but I think early on, all four of the guys in the band brought something unique to the proceedings. And then I think when you lose one member at this point, the band sounds different. Now, in this case, without Eric here, the bass lines aren't as distinctive as they used to be. They're still driving, but the bass was the hook on a lot of songs on the first two albums. Here, it's more driving, and it's playing along with Stephen's drums, and Stephen's still a kick-ass drummer. Getting back to the tracks, the title song's very straightforward. It's got a short bridge on it. It rocks pretty hard. The playing by the rhythm section through the solo is quite impressive. Just Because was the single. I think it's the best song on the album. And it's got a rolling bass line. Again, we got a driving rhythm here. The interplay on it's very strong. Great guitar lines. There's a very Led Zeppelin feel in these riffs. Price I Pay. Now here, they're trying to be a little more art, and it doesn't work. It sounds like this parts of songs put together to me. I mean, it's okay, but where it sounded so easy and flawless before, it sounds like they're trying too hard on this song, and that goes double for the Riches, which it has some ebb and flow to it, but it just doesn't sound cohesive when the song slows down. Superhero was a single. I think this is a great song as well. Very straightforward, cool bridge on here. Has a good hook in the guitar line. Dave really smokes on this song. Wrong Girl's pretty cool. It's based off a jam. It could, at times, it does remind you a little bit of Been Caught Stealing. The fact that it's just so loose and free. Good groove to this song as well. Very cool. Everybody's Friend is more of an acoustic song. Has a nice solo on it, but there's too much going on with all the programming, I think. Sometimes I think you really should have cut back on this album. I think they should have cut back more on the programming on a lot of songs. Yeah. Suffer Some Funk. We got a nice stop-start rhythm on here. Nice pre-chorus on it. Once again, it just seems forced. The chorus doesn't seem to click with the rest of the song. I mean, it's decent, but it's not great. Hypersonic, I think, is one of the better tracks. This could have fit on side one of their second album, Ritual de lo Habitual. Sonically, there's more going on. It does get more chaotic until it ends very suddenly. This is good. To Match the Sun, too much going on this, although it starts out really dreamy. There is a good riff on here. There's some strings on here too, and I think it sounds out of place. But anyway, there's a lot of good songs on here. It's my least favorite record, but still not a bad record. I give it a 6.5.
All right, cool. Excellent. All right. What's your next record?
Okay, my number 3 is The Great Escape Artist from 2011, not to be confused with Dave the Escape Artist, who comes in on the show now and then. That's his name, right? Yeah, so here they're going more industrial. They're taking the programming that was very in vogue by that point, and they're trying to add it to their sound. And I think this is a little more successful than Strays in that aspect. I also think the songs are a lot stronger. We got Rich Cosley producing here. It has a very loud production. Sonically, I mean, they always had that drama here. Now we're getting really loud on these songs. We have a couple different guys coming in here on the bass with Chris Chaney. We on Strays. We also have David Andrew Sitek on bass, and he's also putting in keys and additional rhythm guitar as well. Opening track, Underground, is very, very cool. The song on this works very, very well as an opener. And like I said, we're going down the industrial path here. Dave still sounds great. He sounds more like Dave here than he did on Strays.
Mm.
And the solo on here really kicks. End of the Lies continues the momentum. This is very, very cool. Got a nice hypnotic rhythm that works very, very well. Curiosity Kills. We got a cool driving bass line here. Nice change in mood during the bridge before it goes into one of those cool, noisy solos that Dave Navarro. Nice hook in the guitar line on this one as well. Irresistible Force. Met the Immovable Object. This was the second single off the album. Good chorus on here. There's a lot of spacey keyboards on here. The rhythm really takes you in. This is really, really cool. First 4 tracks I think are very, very cool. I'll Hit You Back. Now it's starting to sound a little too samey with some of these songs with that same repulsive, loud feel to them. And we're going to get into something that Grant likes to talk about in a little bit as I go through the tracks here, and he knows where I'm going.
I do, 100%.
Number 6 is Twisted Tales. It's more atmospheric. There's a nice bridge on here. There's more sparse vocally. But again, we're all getting a little samey. There's more keyboards in the rhythms here. Ultimate Reason, we have a good riff in this one, but it's less distinctive than you normally would get from Dave Navarro. We got the quiet, loud thing going on here. One thing, when they do go loud on here and on Strays, it's more jarring than it was on the first 2 albums. Splash a Little Water on it. Now, this is quieter. It's got nice soundscapes to it. It's got acoustic guitar. You're listening to this and you're like, sequencing. You should take some of these slower songs that we're about to get into, and I think you should take these and put them earlier in the album, or, break up Curiosity Kills with Irresistible Force, put a song like Splash a Little Water on it in here. Broken People, I think, is wonderful. Excellent track here. This is very, very mellow. I think this is one of Perry Farrell's finest vocal performances on here. Very, very good. And then the last track, words right out of my mouth. This rocks like hell. We got a quieter bridge with the acoustic guitars. And then it gets really, really strong once it goes electric and those guitars really sing. We got great riffs on here. And then we got the ringing guitars in the second verse. And we change up the rhythm before the solo kicks in again. When I listen to these last 2 songs, I'm like, why do we have 2 great songs buried at the end of the album? I think that this should have definitely been sequenced better than it was, instead of starting out so hot and then going down in quality and then having these quieter burners here at the end. I think that really hurts the album. But all in all, I think the songs are better on this album than Strays, in my humble opinion. There are a lot of effects on Perry's voice. We are in 2011 at this point. You're going to hear some Radiohead sounds on this album, some Muse sounds, but I think that what they're doing is they're adding this to their musical palette. I think it works more often than not. I give it a 7.5.
All right, cool. Excellent. John, the music nut, ladies and gentlemen. Let's throw it over to Brian McFadden and get his number 4 and number 3.
All right. You can leave that up. That's my number 4, which is the Great Escape artist. And I'm going to tell you what, I got Jane's Addiction Fatigue from this album. I got Fatigue. It is very atmospheric. They did do a lot of experimental that I think, to me, I know that they took a risk, but for me, it just wasn't a payoff at all. And I thought I found a lot of the album pretty noisy, actually. But yeah, Underground was a good starter. It's got that good bass psych kind of going on through it. Stephen Perkins, just amazing drummer. He's been an influence all my life. Well, as far as, you know, as soon as he hit the scene. Then you got the End of the Lies, which is an alternative rocker, slow rocker. It's got the slow drum beats, and that one's okay. I didn't pick a whole lot off of this, Irresistible. What is that?
Irresistible
Oh,
Force.
Irresistible Force. Yeah. It's a good driving song. It's got a lot of psych. It's got that breakdown, and it's got the build up. So it starts off strong, and then it kind of flattens out, goes for a little while, then it drops out, and it goes spacey, atmospheric, and then it comes back, and it starts getting heavier at the end. And I like the way that it dropped out. But it is like one of those immediate, like they didn't fade it or nothing. It just stops. I'll Hit You Back. It was like a South ballad, and then again you got Dave Navarro with his shredding abilities in there with his solos, which I think pretty much made the album for me. It's just to see what he was going to do next with his guitar tones. And then you got the Twisted. Oh, I can't read it.
Words are hard sometimes, Brian.
Twisted Tales.
You need your glasses.
Oh man,
Where's your
my
glasses,
writing
Brian?
sucks when you got to. I know, and I can't find them. Exactly. But yeah, it had that industrial taste to it, like almost like a filter production, where it was kind of heavy, but then the drums were kind of, I don't know, pulled back. They sounded electronic to me. I didn't like that very much. I mean, a lot of this album just really turned me off.
All right.
I don't know if fatigue is the right word, but this is an album I probably won't grab again. But then,
All right.
yeah, but the drums are good. The guitars are good. It's all atmospheric and stuff, which I like a lot of that stuff. But like I said, on this, it was just too much. And I think it was 11 songs. Now, even with the Broken People, it has that nice, like a mellow psychedelic journey, and I don't know. It atmosphere, and then it builds up to a crescendo. And again, the lyrics are pretty good. The words aren't so encrypted, I guess, really on this album. And then, yeah, right out of my mouth, it's just a fast rocker to end the album, which that was a good payoff to listen to the whole thing. And then I'm going to pick Strays for my number 3.
Okay.
And I got a lot of picks off of this. There's a lot more going on with this album. I like True Nature a lot. It's a good banger. It's probably one of the heaviest riffs I think I've heard from him, besides maybe Mountain Song. But even then, I think that's all like just wide open strum. Yeah, Just Because, which was the single, like John said. I liked that immediately when I heard that. I thought, to me, it was different. But then I knew that he came from the Chili Peppers, and he came into this, so I was already expecting some kind of Chili Pepper offshoot with some of his playing. And John, I think, nailed it again, saying that he kind of lost some of his form trying to fit in, for John Frusciante. I think it really did affect his playing in a dynamic way. He's not so heavy anymore. He's not so aggressive playing. He's kind of like, he's kind of like really taking his time with his notes and his tones.
It's like he's getting
price they pay
more too professional. I'm sorry to interrupt, Brian. It's almost like he was getting more. It was like he was getting too structured. He was getting too professional instead of having that free sound that he had before.
Right. He's an accomplished musician no matter what. And the thing is, like like you said, I think he's really trying on this album. He's really trying. And I don't think it really detracts from it. It just shows that they're in for the new long haul of moving forward with something new, as opposed to the dated material, which was from 92 or whatever, 90, 91.
That's wonderful.
Wrong Girl was
Logan.
good. Blues rocker. It sounds like Chili Pepper song to me, like big time. And then Everybody's Friend. It's another like acoustic ballad. Some of these, I even put like a down arrow on it, so it's a skipper. So there's skippers on this album, and there's more skippers on the one I just reviewed. But and then to Watch the Sun, which is like a psychedelic closer. That was a good album, good song to end for the whole album, so that you can flip it over and listen to it again. But that hypersonic, the blistering drums on there from Stephen is just crazy. I love the little. Oh, he's just constantly moving. That guy is just a cadence parallel nut job. And then I don't know what I say. Oh, suffer some more. Yeah, suffer some more. Is that what it is?
Suffer some.
Suffer some. That was energetic. I think it's a pop song, and the solos really kind of make that song kind of stick out with his playing in that. Oh, so I didn't give a ranking for either, but
you did Great Escape and then
later.
Strays.
Yeah, so Great Escape, I'm gonna give it like a 6.
Oh,
and
okay.
And Strays, I'll give it a 7.5.
All right, cool. All right, Brian, thanks for that. All right, let's throw it over to Webb. What's your so what we've got now so far to keep everybody up to date? John the Music Nut, number 4 is Strays, number 3 is The Great Escape. Brian is the polar opposite. He's going with number 4, The Great Escape and Strays. Let's throw it over to Webb to get his number 4 and number 3. Webb, take it away.
Okay, well, you can go back to The Great Escape Artist for my number 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I honestly, I'm gonna be honest here. I had never really listened to this record until lately. So, I listened to the first 3 and loved them. And this one it didn't do a whole lot for me. Kind of like Brian said, there's a lot of sameness on it, if that's a good word to say. A lot of the songs that I can't differentiate from the other. I did put that Irresistible Force rocks. And The Ultimate Reason has a cool kind of slow fade in, and then it kicks in, like proper James style heavy groove. And I love those heavy grooves. I felt like it could have been on Strays, maybe kind of had that sound. Words Right Out of My Mouth. I just like that driving beat, big riff, what you expect from James.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the switch into halftime. I always love, that's their thing. They do it more on the first couple albums, I think, but they're going at it, and then it's just that halftime, and it's just, you just kind of melt into it, right? That's kind of what James has. And they do that on that one. I like that. All the other songs, I'm not even going to mention. They all kind of blended together. It just didn't really stick out for me. I don't want to, trash it too bad, but I just kind of like Brian said, I don't really know if I would go back and listen to any of these songs. I like enough of the songs on the first 2 albums and some on the next one that I'll talk about. And so, yeah, I'll give it a 6. I wrote a 6 out of 10. So I'll blow through that one.
All right.
And then 3 is Strays. So I got the same. Yeah. So we're all kind of in the same, vein here.
You and Brian are lining up.
Yeah. And Strays, I kind of like the big Bob Ezrin sound. They're trying to come back. They're trying to just make that. It just sounds really big. It kind of lost there. Yeah, it kind of lost a little bit of the punkish vibe, like John said. That's kind of out. It's less alternative sounding and edgy, right? It's a little smoothed out. Bob Ezrin is good about doing all that stuff, getting in there and putting his input in and making everything sound really good. But I love now. John didn't like Price I Pay. I like it for some reason. I don't know. That's one that stuck with me. And the title track is great. Strays. Those probably my 2 favorite. And then the single Just Because, which does have kind of a Chili Pepper kind of groove, to it. And like you said, he was in. Was he on 2 albums with the Chili Peppers or just
one?
Just one. That's right. Just one. Okay.
1 Hot Minute.
1 Hot Minute, which was, I listened to it for about 5 hot minutes.
I didn't have that. I didn't have that sound effect. The only sound effect that I can come up with is some crickets.
There we go. No, I like some of the songs on that. We won't go into that, but it just, yeah.
That's all I got.
Shots fired.
It's no Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Let's just put it that way. But Strays, they sound energized. They sound like they're glad to be back together, and they got new blood on bass, and they sound like they're having fun. And I'm sure they were having fun with Bob. But were they all sober? They were all sober by this album, weren't they?
Maybe that was the problem. They should have
Well
drank
said,
more.
Grant.
George, how are you? You're late. I waited for you, but we've got to go on without you.
Well said, Grant. That's the problem. I think, yeah.
Perry
they
never
are,
got sober. Perry never got sober.
We're sober, and we can still rock when we're
No.
sober, but it doesn't quite have that Jane's edge that so many people love to just get really effed up to and just.
Well,
listen
look at this. Let's use this for example, panel. We've got Aerosmith after they got sober, and then they've got Aerosmith before they got sober.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
There's
I'll
a lot
take
of
that.
great stuff on that later stuff, though, because we looked at that eons ago.
Yeah.
But there's some good stuff, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, good comparison. I'll definitely take the messed up Aerosmith any day. But yeah, it sounds great, but I'm just going to go ahead and finish and say that I'll give this a 7.5. Well, I'll give it a 7. And I really like the next two albums a lot more. So
All right.
there you go.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Webb. Excellent work. Excellent work, panel. You guys are on fire. Let's sort over to West Coast Dave and get his number 4 and number 3.
Okay, my 4 is Great Escape Artist, produced by Rich Costey. To me, this is just like we need help writing songs. They got Dave Sitek from TV on the Radio to come into the studio and help them out and try to update their sound and make them more current. I look at this album as a struggle to regain relevancy that they had lost, and they're just going through the motions with a fancy producer. I don't really like this album. I feel like Dave Navarro's guitar playing on it is very severely muted on it. The songwriting's just subpar. I don't want to go through every song. Into the Lies. Perry's writing about Eric Avery. I think they really did not like each other at that point, partly because Eric Avery became obsessed with Casey Nicole, who was Perry Farrell's soulmate and did all their artwork. And then Perry was like, what kind of a brother is like, come on to his best friend's girlfriend. And then they hated each other for a long time. And to me, if Eric Avery's not in the band, they're not any good anymore. Pretty much straight up. Their songs are all built around his rolling bass lines. And Chris Chaney is a good player, but just boring. Sorry, bro. But anyway, Into the Lies. Perry's definitely mad at Eric Avery on that song, and he says, "You were the foreskin when I was the real head."
Ooh,
That's poetry, Dave. That is poetry.
nice lyrics.
Weak poetry,
I miss
man.
that.
Perry slid
Hand
way
me
down.
down from Gene Simmons.
I love it.
Curiosity kills. I'm already getting tired of the slickly produced intros. The words don't rhyme or they land right. I'm just bored. Irresistible Force. When I listen to this album, I don't even own this album, but when I listen to it, all the songs start with like a creepy kind of synth pad, like every single one, and it just got really old. Nothing like really started banging or nothing, So Irresistible Force, there are some synth pads that lead into a chorus. It's one of the better, more memorable choruses on the album, but I'm still a little underwhelmed. Now, I'll Hit You Back. That song should be banging. It's not. There's no teeth in that song at all. It's called I'll Hit You Back, It's way too nice. It just doesn't make sense to me. Twisted Tales, it's a mid-tempo slug. I'm going, where's the power chords? There's all these single note guitar lines with chorus on them, kind of like the power chords are all gone now. And it's got like some EDM, like pop vibes. I'm not really into that. I've got comments on these other songs that say things like mid-tempo yawner, ultimate reason, that love, that love, that love, that love, that love. Perry, what are you doing, man? You lost it. Splash a little water on it. What? Languid Tales of Hard Partying is what I put in my notes. How can it be so boring? Until there's a good guitar solo on that. And at the last minute, there's a decent melody. Broken People, I like that song. It's probably my favorite song on the album. It's got programmed drums. Stephen Perkins, one of the greatest drummers I've ever heard in my entire life. Why would you use programmed drums? I don't know. Perry sounds more natural on Broken People, though. It's got a good melody. The guitar hits after about 2 minutes or so. And then the words right out of my mouth. Finally, the guitar and Perkins are back. It's driving. The words seem like they're forced, though. I'm not really feeling it. So overall, I'm giving this album a 4.5.
Oof. Oof. Oof.
Okay.
Hey,
I need that sound.
Yeah, it's like when you watch Antique Roadshow.
I'm just gonna go with the crickets at the moment.
Yeah,
You got to get the Price is Right. Do 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 do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's to me, Great Escape Artist is like, yeah, nice try now. For Strays, that's my number 3, and I'm going to quote Eric Avery when he was asked when he heard Strays. He said, "It's a good KROQ album, but it's not generation defining," and I totally agree with that. The first 3 albums, if you count the live album, that was my generation's like Led Zeppelin or The Doors or something. I mean, they were the band to see for sure, especially living in California. And Strays is like an attempt to regain past glory, and I just don't really think it worked out that great. Let's see here. I like a lot of the songs, though. The Bob Ezrin stuff, I mean, it's okay. True Nature is kind of overproduced, though. It's got a good riff, but it's not right because Eric Avery's not on it. There is some slide guitar on the break, which I never really heard Dave Navarro do before, so I like that. At about 155, though, there's this really cool sinister part where Dave Navarro's got a kill switch on, and it kind of goes like, it's got like the stuttering motion, and I really like that, but it just goes way too fast. For the song Strays, there's 6 different writers listed in the credits, including David J. from Bauhaus. Usually that should mean that I would like it. I don't know, though. Navarro was playing very well. The songs just aren't like meeting the legendary status like they used to. Just Because, I think, is the best song at recapturing their old glory. Eric Avery is in the writing credits on that song, too. Price I Pay has a mellow, I like that one. It's got a mellow intro, kind of sounds like Ritual. Where he says always the price I pay, gets really heavy for a little while. It starts to get a little disjointed with these programmed drum sounds, though. The Riches, now Perry's just keeps singing about hot water and standing in the shower thinking, and it's like, dude, you ran out of ideas on the 3rd album. And I think that's a big part of the problem with the later Jane's Addiction albums to me. There's too many sound effects on that are diluting the lyrics. The lyrics just don't hit the same. And Superhero, not a huge fan of that. It's sort of corporate sounding. It was the theme song for that stupid HBO show Entourage, which I did not like at all. Wrong Girl starts out with a Hendrixy kind of riff. It's just okay. Perry's trying to swear on that song, and it doesn't work anymore. The profanity on the first Jane's Addictions albums is so street, and it's just right there. I usually don't like profanity very much because I just think it makes people sound like they're posturing too much. But he's really good at it on the first couple albums, but it just doesn't fit here. Everybody's Friend, that is just a big yawn. I don't know, whatever. Suffer Some is an older song that they tried to rework, and I just don't think they rewrote it well enough. Hypersonic, I have it's nice and up-tempo. It would hit way harder without the programmed drum embellishments. It's kind of a lost opportunity to have a lot more of a heavy hitter. And then there's a lot of unnecessary studio noise. It's just kind of overproduced. And then to match the sun, the verses use the same cadence as Trip Away I have in my notes. And the song changes to this sort of dreamy, reflective chorus verse. It's a little disjointed, a little mismatchy. Strays has some moments on it. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
All right. Excellent. So we've got, so far, ladies and gentlemen, Brian, Webb, and West Coast Dave have lined up. John the Music Nut is an outlier for right now, but we will see, because we're going to send it over to Tom Curlis and get his number 4, number 3. Tom, welcome back to the show. Nice to see you. What's your number 4, number 3?
Hey, it's great to be here. This is fun. And John's not going to be an outlier anymore because I'm going number 4 straight. Okay. So I just wanted to say, I don't want to go crazy. I just want to say that these aren't bad for comeback records, but and I'm kind of repeating what everyone's saying. Basically, they're decent, but they're not consistent. I mean, they're still a good band, but it's definitely a different feel because these are like slick productions, and it makes them sound like everyone else. Whereas like the first 3 records, it was like, who is this band? Oh my God, they sounded so unique and so different. Back in the late '80s, when Nothing Shocking came out, it was like, who is this band? And it's like the difference between we were talking about Perry Farrell, the raw street poet, druggy, like, who are these dudes? And then it's like, by the time they reunite, Perry's like a sober, slick, older millionaire. It's like, it's not the same feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's got a nice hat, though. It does have a nice hat.
It doesn't have the same edginess that it did back in the day, So, but that being said, these are decent records. I listen to them and I enjoy them, and they're not bad. Strays highlights, I would say, True Nature, Just Because, Superheroes, and Strays, the title track. And I'm going to give it a 5.5.
Okay.
And then the Great Escape Artist, I hear you, Dave, but I'm going to disagree. I like the Great Escape Artist better than Strays. I think it has a little bit more energy. I like some of the songs. It's definitely, both of these records are front loaded. The first couple tracks particularly, it's like, okay, then it just fades. I like Underground, End to the Lies, Curiosity Kills, Irresistible Force, and everyone mentioned Broken People. That feels like a track that could have been on one of the first three records. So I really enjoyed that song a lot. And I'm going to give that a 6. So there you go.
All right, excellent. All right, okay, gentlemen, I'm going to keep this really quick. My number 4, I'm going to leave this graphic right up. It's an okay record. I'm kind of like Webb. I hadn't heard it. In fact, I never even knew this record was out until we started to do this record.
I didn't either, Grant. I promise you, I had no idea.
I kind of dropped out by then, but I have all this other stuff. I'm good. But this didn't really do anything for me. End of the Lies, that's gritty, riff driven. It's kind of got that classic Jane energy to it, but okay. Irresistible Force, kind of a cosmic rocker. I know Brian was mentioning that this kind of had that cosmic kind of feeling to it. What did you say, Brian? What was your quote? Had more of a
atmospheric.
Atmospheric. So
psych.
That cosmic atmospheric type of thing.
Psych, yeah.
This was a hit on the Billboard alternative chart, believe it or not, got up to number 9. Underground's very moody opener. You've got those electronic flourishes going on. It kind of sets the tone for the record. But something about it. I just don't think that this album really has a lot of cohesion. And I think the band, the chemistry that was once within Jane's Addiction.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going, ladies and gentlemen. I just don't think the chemistry's here. Some of these things might be underrated. I mean, you could probably make a really good EP out of this. I think this is the weakest effort. I didn't rate these out of 10 or anything. I'm just gonna go with a number 4. My number 3, I am gonna go with Strays. And here we go. Here's the CD. This came out after a 13-year hiatus. Now you're minus Eric Avery and but you got Chris Chaney on bass. Came out on Capitol. We mentioned Bob Ezrin produced it. Pink Floyd, The Wall, Alice Cooper. The Elder, the best Bob Ezrin production ever.
Destroy it.
But anyway, This has a lot of different themes on it: redemption, love, Hinduism. It's much more produced. Of course it is, because it has Bob Ezrin here. I kind of like what Bob does here. I think that Perry still sounds great. Still sounds kind of eclectic. Notable tracks that I liked on this: Just Because, catchy anthemic single, hit number 14. I think that's a decent track. True Nature, hard-hitting rocker. I think Navarro on this track comes across really strong. Price I Pay, it's slower, introspective. It's a little bit more emotional, but hey, whatever. I think it's a standout. If I was going to give it a rating, what the hell? If I was going to give this a rating, I'd probably give it probably a 7 out of 10, maybe. I don't know. And probably The Great Escape, I probably go 6. But it's okay. There's not really, if I have to rank these things somewhere, and I just want to go on record that there's not a bad record here among any of them. There's something for everybody here. But would I start out with Strays or Great Escape Artists? Maybe I might not. That might be later down the road. So anyway, there you go. So there you go. I line up with Brian Webb and West Coast Dave. All right, let's go to the our number 2 and number 1 slots. I'm going to throw it over to John the Music Nut. John, what's your number 2 and number 1?
All right, thank you. My number 2 is Nothing Shocking from 1988.
Okay.
This has the original band, Perry, Dave, Eric, and Stephen. If there's one album that works as a piece of these 4, it sounds great when you just listen to it all the way through. This is the album. The chemistry is here from the get-go. Like I said, the whole was greater than the sum of its parts on these first 2 studio records. Yeah. The use of dynamics on here is wonderful. When I heard this album way back in the day, I was really excited with the way that music was changing by this point. You had bands like Fate No More coming up. You had Living Color coming up. So many other great bands that were changing the music scene little by little. And then things would completely change by about 91 or so. But this is a very strong record. Up the Beach is a quasi-instrumental. It's being led by those wonderful creative bass lines by Eric Avery. There's a great majesty in it with how Dave Navarro's guitars really sound on here, the way he's playing. Excellent. Ocean Size, very abstract and atmospheric. Dave's playing on here and throughout the album. He is a warrior on here. He is on fire.
Yes.
Starts out really quiet and then it gets loud. Great use of dynamics here. Those abstract lyrics work very, very well. Had a Dad has that staccato riff and that busy bass line. Very painful lyrics here. If you see my dad, tell him my brothers have all gone mad. What a groove on here. Kicks ass. Ted just admit it. This is where you hear the title, Nothing Shocking. And the vocal riff, Sex is Violent, which is repeated over and over. Then it gets really tribal and fiery. These tempo changes on here are wonderful. Again, the great use of drama, another creative bass line leading this here by Eric. Stand in the Shower, more melodic, nice rhythm on here. It sounds familiar, this rhythm. I can't pick out where it comes from, but nonetheless, it's so cool. Summertime Rolls is very breezy. You listen, it sounds like the sun coming up. It sounds like something that would be playing in the background as you're watching the sunrise. Breezy delivery on here. We got those stoner guitars on here. Very, very cool. Then we got Mountain Song, which is one of the 2 hits off the album, and Judas Priest loved it so much, they took this riff and used it for the song Revolution off of their comeback album from 2005 and Angel of Retribution. So, yeah, that riff is the basis of this song. But again, it starts out with that wonderful bass line, which is really, really cool. And then the guitars are playing in unison with it. This song still sounds great today. And a wonderful chaotic solo from Dave on here. Idiots Rule. Now we got the hard funk on here. Horn lines provided by Angelo and Christopher from Fishbone, who are still with the band, as well as Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers. He's not just a wicked bass player. This song kicks ass. Funky as hell, so staccato, cool bridge on it. Everything's awesome. Jane says, most famous song on the album. You still hear this to this day. It's so same acoustic. It's acoustic guitar on here, same repeated chords. I believe Eric played the guitar on this. Very whimsical. This island feel on here with the steel drums. Very, very cool. One of the great early alternative songs, you can definitely say. Thank you, boys. It's just a short lounge jazz instrumental with, well, actually you hear Perry saying, thank you, boys, at the end. That's all you got. And Pigs in Zen, very, very heavy. Got a cool stop-start rhythm on here. What a riff. It's got this cool, it feels very Zeppelin to me. And the breakdown here is excellent when when I said it again, when Perry starts ad-libbing. It's really, really cool. Musical bridge on here is killer, very loose, awesome. Produced by Dave Jardin. Dave Jardin was the perfect producer for Jane's Addiction. Some of the great, I want to just give a little shout out to Dave here. Listen to these album titles. He produced some of the best music of the late 80s, early 90s. He did Sound of White Noise for Anthrax. He did Facelift for Alice in Chains. He did Mother's Milk for Red Hot Chili Peppers. The Reality of My Surroundings for Fishbone. He also did Dirt for Alice in Chains. He did Symbol of Salvation for Armored Saints. He did Americana and Ixnay on the Hombre for Offspring. He produced a lot of great records. I think Dave Jardin definitely deserves a lot more recognition than he gets these days. As for this album, again, you got to listen to it as a piece to fully appreciate it. I give it a 9.
Holy dang. All right. Excellent.
All right. Well, my number 1 is Ritual Dale Habitual from 1990. I think this is one of the best albums in the 1990s. I think this sounds amazing to this day. And once again, we got Dave Jardin on here. Whereas the first album, or the album I just discussed previously, Nothing Shocking, that works best as a piece. This is the accessible first half and the cerebral second half.
Mm-hmm.
What's so different about this album? Vocal hooks. There are so many great vocal hooks on this album. So many little parts of these songs that you remember. The beginning of Stop, that little rant at the end of Stop, that cool rhythm in there with that bass line and the guitar interplay there with Dave and Eric is wonderful. The bridge on here is killer. This just pulls out all the stops. It is a wicked opener. No One's Leaving. The bass opens this one up. And you got those guitar lines. They're more ringing, but they're still really wild, yet melodic. Tight as hell. Great song. Ain't No Right. Just starts out with that little spoken word thing under the surface, which is really, really cool. And then we're going into the bass line again, but this time we're playing it a lot more staccato. Really, really cool. Then it goes into that chugging riff, and it just rocks. It is killer. Stephen's drumming on here as throughout. It is fantastic. Obvious. Very, very cool tune. Another great vocal hook here when you're digging something up. And then those guitars really kick in. That's a very memorable song. Very more mid-tempo. The bass is really cool on here. You got these keyboards coming in from the distance, like they feel like they're coming out of space, which is really, really cool. Cool pre-chorus on here. And then we go into Ben Caught Stealing, which is probably their most famous song. Again, how many different vocal hooks do we have on this one? Walk right through the door. Walk right through the door. Hey, all right, I'll get by. It's a mine, all mine. So many great, cool parts in this song. Very rollicking rhythm here a la Chuck Berry. We got the dogs bark at the beginning. There's a great hook. As soon as you hear that, you're like, oh, Jane's Addiction.
Oh, yeah, that got tons of video. MTV play back in the day. Yeah. Man, it was on heavy rotation.
And the bridge, da 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 da. I mean, there's so many cool parts in here vocally. And then we got the bass coming in, and after that bridge, memorable chorus, it rocks. 3 days. My favorite song by Jane's Addiction, my favorite song from 1990. This is a tour de force. Again, led by that wonderful bass line. And this has a more cerebral feel to it. It's got this slow burn that really goes through. And then at around the 3-minute mark, it really kicks in when it gets very, very tribal. And this song just takes you on a ride. The guitar playing on here from Dave is magnificent. This is excellent. Shadows of the Morning Light, Shadows of the Evening Sun. We all remember that part of the song. So much drama on here. It's very majestic, and then it gets very quiet, and then it picks up again, and then it gets very, very loud at the end. It's like 11 minutes long, and it never feels like 11 minutes. It feels like 3 because it just brings you in and you're not thinking about anything else when you're listening to this song. Then we go into Then She Did. Now we're going into an 8-minute song. You're thinking, oh, this is going to sound long now. No, it doesn't sound long at all. This sounds like I'm talking a little about Zeppelin in these because this sounds like something that could have been on Physical Graffiti, a more modern version of Physical Graffiti here with the dynamics on here. Very, very cool. The piano and the strings work very well. They provide a perfect amount of color on this song. Excellent track. Of course, now we got those violins that are really, really prominent. And that Eric doesn't even play bass on this song because this is run by those violins and that wonderful vocals and lyrics by Perry. What's the vocal line here? The vocal hook, slapping yourself in the face. Awesome. Then we go into Classic Girl. What a perfect closer. It's just more like it's just two different things going on in this one. It's very ringing guitars, very mellow, wonderful vocal from Perry. And then we go into that tribal feel again. Then we go back into the dreamy part and then the tribal part. It ends the album perfectly, I think. So what would I rank it? 10, no doubt about it.
A 10, ladies and gentlemen.
I love this record. Loved it since
All right.
10.
All right. Well, let's see if let's see what Brian's got. Brian, thank you, Mr. Nutt.
You're welcome.
Mr. Brian McFadden, what's your number 2 and number 1, please?
Yeah, my number 2 is going to be nothing shocking, and this is a banger album. I give it a 10-10. There's no skippers, but Ritual de Habitual, they stepped up their game. They got better, and it was better production and everything else. But Up the Beach for the opener. That is just one of the most epic songs that ever be written, I think, and it still stands up today. Oceanside is always fun to watch when they're playing it live. I saw the Lollapalooza the second to the last before they broke up. I saw that show, and they obviously played just about everything. Of course, it was like the most magnificent versions I've ever heard of those songs, and I've seen them live a couple times before that. But then you find out that they're going to break up tomorrow. So even Had a Dad was good. Ted Just Admit It isn't that the reggae one? Yeah, Standing in the Shower Thinking, that could be a skipper, but it's still fun. Rolls, it opens up the second side, which is, I think that's an awesome song, and it is it opened the windows and drive your car, summer album. It really is. So then you got Mountain Song, which there's not much to say about that. I got the Dudes soundtrack. I think the Dudes soundtrack has the demo version of Mountain Song, so I heard that before I heard this. And I bought the cassette when this came out, which I was very happy about. But I was an extreme, like Slayer, thrash, Flotsam and Jetsam. I was a total thrash head. And then this came out.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian has ended up going into the Twilight Zone.
That's what I usually do.
Now you can play the crickets.
Here. We'll give it a minute.
I can start mine and then we can jump back.
No, he's here. He's here, ladies and gentlemen.
I got thunder coming in. I got thunderstorm coming in.
That's what she said. All right.
Yeah. So with the Mountain Song, I heard the demo first off the Dudes movie soundtrack, and then I got into this album, but I bought this when it came out. And it's only because I was familiar with the song, and then of course MTV had the video on. They were playing the video, which was fun to watch. And you got Idiot's Rule. That's a great live song. Everything about it, even with the horns, everything, I think pops. Jane Says, perfect ballad. I think it's a great song for this album, and it's towards the end, so it doesn't end on it. But you got the Thank You Boys, which I think that that's kind of a weekender. But Yeah,
All right.
it makes you want to flip it over constantly because not only that, but the length of the album is only like what 33 minutes, 32 minutes. So it's not. It's a replayability factor is 10/10. So and then I'm going to go with Ritual de Habitual for my first. I got so many that I picked out of that. I love the classic girl. Then She Did is probably my favorite song by the band, and then that's followed. No, I'm sorry. That's after the 3 days, which is a pretty epic stadium piece. I remember they had a big, I don't know, they had a big screen up behind them with video and stuff. It was all war and things, but it was impactful at the time in 1992 or whatever it was, 91.
90.
No, I think it was 92. 90?
91 tour.
90.
Yeah.
I got pictures from that concert. I got pictures from that. I should have brought them out and I didn't. But yeah, No One's Leaving. I like that. Stop is a great strong opener. I think it's unlike anything else I've heard at the time. So it really stuck out, and I know it was a big radio hit, and it was good. Ain't No Right, great drums all the way through it. I mean, everything on here is Stephen Perkins, in my opinion, and Dave Navarro with his flashy guitar techniques. Been Caught Stealing, I could hear that a million more times. I'd still like it.
Yeah, it's good.
The 3 days. Then She Did. I like the lyrics of Then She Did, and then of course, the classic girl. It's a good ending song for that album as well. So it makes you want to flip it and listen to it again. The production on both of these is outstanding, and I really like that they stepped up and they had more horns and stuff and strings and atmosphere on the Ritual de Habitual compared to the first debut album. But they grew really quick coming from this to that. I mean, it was a real dynamic change, and I thought so. But it was a longer album as well. I remember we all went out. It was like 4 of us in the car. We all bought our own copies, and we were listening to it just driving around on a Saturday, and just flipping it, going and going and going. We're doing the Bone Cruise on the back roads, and it hit perfect when you're 15, 16 or whatever it is, right?
Right. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So Brian's number 1 is Ritual. Mr. Nuts is number 1 is Ritual as well. We're going to throw it over to Webb and see what his top 2 are. Webb, take it away.
Well, you can it's going to be the same. So my number 2, sorry, is Nothing Shocking. 1988, when this came out, I'm listening to Living Colour, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, Maiden. What am I listening to? Give me some more 88 albums. I know John can give me some.
You're listening to Operation Mindcrime.
John can just list them right off.
How did he know?
Because that was my favorite from 88.
Yes, right. Yeah. And I guess I was probably a sophomore in college when this came out. So we were doing some heavy partying in college, and it was a kind of some jammy kind of stuff too. And I heard Jane's Addiction, and I was like, I was blown away. I was like, I don't know what this is different than anything I've heard. Just the energy, it was aggressive to me. That aggression. I wrote down some adjectives for this band: unstable, aggressive, volatile, unhinged.
My goodness.
Yeah.
But that's their allure, right? Isn't that their allure? That's what I think people gravitated towards. They were like, wow, this is out there and it's rocking and it's edgy, and this guy sounds kind of angry. Sounds like he might want to, you don't want to meet him in a back alley. He might want to fight you or something, just go off on you. And at least that's just the way I felt about it. But man, they're such good musicians, and when you hear the way it's so well produced and everything, and just that allure of the swells of sound, and the changes of tempos and everything, and I think that was what got people into Jane's. It kind of just didn't really sound like anything else. It was like, here's the 80s, but we're going to kind of take you into the 90s, and of course they did that on the next album, right? And I I don't know. I'm not going to go through every song. I just think that, Jane Says was a song that you could hear, late night at a party and everybody's feeling good and somebody puts on Jane Says and then the whole room sings it, and I remember playing that in our room with the band set up and somebody coming in and grabbing the mic and I play Jane Says, we just started up and everybody thought, that's the best party ever, that kind of stuff. And but I'm doing a little reliving of my 1988 years. But I just, this sold 2 million. So people were buying it, people loved it and it got nominated for a Grammy. So critics liked it. People jumped on the Jane's bandwagon and, not a bandwagon, but they jumped on the train and the train was about to derail. So, it has an LA sound to me. I always say that, LA has a sound to me. Some of those bands, it just does. And they capture it. They capture that late 80s LA sound and that vibe and just, ready to go and ready just to mosh and all that stuff. So I will give it a 8.5.
Okay. Excellent.
And, the Mountain Song, I know we've talked about the songs. Mountain Song rocks. And the vocals are great. Stephen Perkins kills me. He's unbelievable. The way he plays the toms. Not many people play like him. And Pigs and Zen rocks. It just makes you, it just up and down. It just takes you on a ride. So number 1, Ritual de lo Habitual. And it sounds better. Like everybody said, the production value's up. Navarro said, he almost has no recollection of working on this album due to his addiction to heroin. He did a good job if you didn't remember.
It's a hell of a drug.
So I'm trying to say these guys were deep into it, weren't they? I mean,
yeah,
I think
so.
Of Nothing Shocking, and that maybe they're making a little bit of money, even though I know you got to sell a ton to really make a lot of money. But they were enjoying the lifestyle, and I think all 4 of them were kind of had some heavy habits, and
not Stephen Perkins.
Not Stephen Perkins. Thank you for correcting me on that. Okay,
he was kind of the sober one, soberish.
Okay, well, drummers got to hold it all together.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, Keith Moon. Keith Moon, for an example.
Except for Keith Moon. Thank you. Yeah, I just Tracks 6 through 9 are a memorial to Perry Farrell's disease. She was diseased in a way, and she was deceased. She died at 18. Help me with the name. What? Xiola.
Zyla Blue.
He met her with
Zyla Blue, who died of a heroin overdose in 87 at 18 years old. And it said Tracks 6 through 9.
He met her when she was 14. He knew her since she was 14, just to say a little red flag there.
Well,
and then she came back around at 18.
Let's not get into that, but yeah, she lived a hard life.
Well, we're getting into it, damn it.
3 days, and then she did have that this price prog. It's just that heavy, edgy prog, right? That kind of like a new kind of sounding prog. Of course, carries that a klezmer influence with that violin, which is cool. Ben Caught Stealing, as we've said, it's so catchy. I can hear it any day of the week, anytime. It's just so. And then I like John singing it. Didn't John sing some of that? Yeah, you were singing some of it. Sounded great.
I was.
Yeah, and you sang it very well. I enjoyed that.
Thank you.
He is a professional.
Oh, he is, of course. And it has that bouncy groove, that bouncy, kind of the Chili Peppers kind of bouncy groove. But, Stop is a strong rocker, good musicianship. It's just the way they push and pull. They kind of push the music and they kind of pull back. And I think that their fans really kind of would just get sucked into it, right? And then they kind of rode the wave. And 3 days, 10.5 minutes, what are you going to do? Badass bass. And Eric Avery was the sauce, I think. Him and Stephen Perkins. I mean, all of them were, some is great.
Rhythm section, outrageous.
Yeah, but the some is great. Yeah, I know that. But I just love his bass tones. And I mean, Navarro kicks ass on it, and I will give it a 9 out of 10.
All right.
favorite one.
Ritual's coming up at number 1, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what West Coast Dave's going to do. Thanks, Webb. That is awesome. West Coast Dave, what is your number 2 and number 1?
My number 2 is Ritual. So, by the way, Brian, what's kind of interesting is it did seem like they made a big leap from Nothing Shocking to Ritual. All the songs were already written before they put out Nothing Shocking, though. So they already had everything done. Yeah, they had everything done already.
I know that. I know in 2020, I think, or I think it was 2020. It might have been. They released this whole album live. You can buy it, like the whole concert live. I don't know where they got the copy from. I don't know if it's a Lollapalooza copy or what, but I remember they released it.
Nice. So anyway, the band kind of started to fall apart after they put out this album because Perry demanded that he should make 2/3 of the money. And so the other guys used to appear on stage with a 12.5%. And it kind of went to Perry's head. And he said, like, I'm making the melodies and I'm making the words. And Eric Avery said, yeah, but I'm writing the bass lines that are making the songs. And Perry said, yeah, those would sound real good in a garage somewhere, without me singing, you guys got nothing. So this is where like a lot of the conflict came in. It was over the money.
No shit. That's what always happens. You get some success.
I've actually been to ASCAP in Manhattan, and I looked it up back in the day. I could look up the royalty arrangements for whoever I wanted. I actually had to give a little non-disclosure that I wouldn't say anything. But when I saw that, I was like, whoa. And then all of a sudden it became this big story. And I was like, wow, that doesn't seem fair. But anyway, Ritual. By the way, this is, Jane's, this is like the best band in the world to me in 1989, 1988, 89, 90, right around there. This is peak Jane's. Ritual, definitely. They expanded on their sound. I agree. They went prog. Stop starts out with that Hendrix chord, save the complaints for party conversation. Now, Perry had some good lyrics on this album. I mean, that's really nice. The middle halftime section where he says, no man will stand for things that he had done, one come a day, that part, and that is just legendary. I mean, I just love it. The writing is so inspired, so much more inspired than those other albums we were talking about. And the guitar solo with the wah just rocks. No one's leaving. So it's obviously very funky. It's a rock rave up about human beings in Perry's life and how much he loves them. What a nice idea for a song, And there's great drums, just a wailing guitar solo. And he says, I wish we all waved. I love that. Why can't everybody just wave to each other and be cool like that? You know what I mean? And then there's that little dub kind of section with the rant about sex, drugs, and rock and roll and not wanting to piss in the cup. And back at the time, I worked in a warehouse, and I totally could relate to that quite a bit. Anyway, Ain't No Right, where he says a bad wind came and blew down my home. Goddamn goodness knows. Great lyrics. Once again, it's like Perry was the best back then. He was so good. And Rocky, live, it was such a banger. It rocked so hard. Obvious is kind of like a psychedelic trip out song. Perry wrote that about Eric once again, and about how he's so obvious. And the song's kind of a slam at Eric Avery. He did that more than once. Been Caught Stealing doesn't have a lot going on musically, but it's more about the rhythm in that song. And, classic, song about crime. And then the video really played on that very well. And Casey Nicole did the art direction on the video and made that very enjoyable. 3 Days is about the three-way that's on the cover of the album. And it's kind of like their Stairway or Freebird or whatever. It's their epic song. Multi-parts played live in the studio, first take.
Ooh.
Some people might call it sort of pretentious. I don't care. The guitar solos in that song kick ass. It totally rock live. Stephen Perkins, just amazing with the drum solo in that. Oh man, Erotic Jesus lays with his Marys, and the whole song climaxes, and it's just a beautiful thing. Then She Did is about Perry's mom. It's a little lingering, slow. I think it's beautifully crafted. If you have the time, it really builds in majesty as it progresses. There's strings, there's piano. And he says, I'm unhappy just as you were. And it's very sad. Of course, yes, slapping yourself in the face, that lyric, John, that will really stick in your head, right? There's that electric violin on that song that I think is really interesting. And then Classic Girl might be slow for a closer, but I think it's a very pretty song. I like softy, sometimes sweet songs. Perry and Casey got married in the video, and just classic all-time stuff. And this is my ticket to see them at John Anson Ford Theater in 1989. And this is my backstage pass for the same show.
Look at you.
I saw Jane's Addiction many, many times. I saw them at a little dance club in Santa Clara called One Step Beyond with maybe about 100 people there. So like I said, this was the band to go see, you know. Anyway, so, by the way, I rate that a 10. I also rate Nothing Shocking a 10. So that's my number one. So we got Up the Beach with the bass, Eric Avery. He made this band, guys. And Home and the all that kind of Perry with the delay on his vocals, the stuff that he did was just fantastic. Ocean Size. No one pulls you out of your home like a tooth aching, a jawbone. This guy can write back then. Hey, it's just so sad that he ran out of ideas, you know. Dave Navarro, I mean, come on. He plays a little bit like Jerry Garcia on that song, and they covered a Grateful Dead song on a comp one time. Had a Dad. Yeah. 10 out of 10 live. Tell my brothers have all gone mad and they're beating on each other. I mean, more just perfect lyrics, you know, that's like, wow, just so right to the point. And how come nobody ever thought of this before? And just really amazing. Ted Just Admit It. That's kind of like their Bauhaus song, I think. And there's a dub influence in there. And then, of course, the whole Sex is Violent. The song escalates. And that's where the term Nothing Shocking that titles the album comes from. And the tribal drums, once again, that's really what separates Stephen Perkins is he played the tribal drum beats. And not too many people really did that back then. Yeah. He says during that song, Perry, I am the killer of people and you look like a meatball. You talk too much to your scapegoat. He tells you everyone is stupid. And he's talking about Ted Bundy and just, you know, I can't say enough about the lyrics. Standing in the Shower, fun live song, just kind of a stream of consciousness thing. I thought about it many times in the shower. The water's so piping hot, the guitar is just killer. Summertime Rolls. I don't remember anybody mentioning that one. That it just has such the defining bass riff. If you had a girlfriend back at the time, that was like the song, you know, kind of. You know, it's kind of like, well. It needed. There's a change in your headspace is optional for listening to that. Is kind of where I'm going to leave that. You might want to feel a certain kind of way when you put that song on Summertime Rolls, and where he says, "If you want a friend, feed any animal." That's just a cutting line once again. Wow, Mountain Song, tribal single with the Casey Nicole video and all that, and Cash In Baby. They got that echo-laden guitar mutterings where he's just kind of making a bunch of noise, and it rises up into this crazy climax where he just goes, whoa, 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 yeah. Oh, man, I'm on board 100% with that. Idiot Rules, prophetic message, of course. You know the man you hate, you look more like him every day. Might want to watch that. Don't want to turn into the person that you hate the most. Jane Says, where he says, I'm going to kick tomorrow, a very classic line about what it means to be addicted to heroin. It's like a punk rock sing-along. Thank You Boys, I think as an interlude is fantastic. And then Pigs and Zen, you're nude, you're unashamed. The goddamn Piog, the rant that he does works, like I think John said. And I love it when he goes, your vision is dead. And he wrote that song about some roommates he had that he couldn't stand, that kept eating his food out of the refrigerator. And I also give this album a 10 out of 10.
All right, 10 out of 10. So, ladies and gentlemen, everybody else's ritual. So far, West Coast Dave's the only one that has listed Nothing Shocking as his number one. Now we're going to send it over to Mr. Tom Kurros. We have no idea what Tom's going to say, but Tom, dazzle us. What's your number two and your number one?
All right. Well, I'm lining up pretty close. I'm lining up with Webb almost exactly.
I don't know if that's kind of scary, Tom.
That's okay. That's fine.
I got Nothing Shocking at 8.5 and Ritual at 9. So 2 and 1 there. So, so yeah, I mean, I really feel like Nothing Shocking is these albums are both great, and they have so much personality and so much energy. And just when I first heard Nothing Shocking in 88, and I was like, man, like, who are these guys? Like, this is unbelievable. It really was kind of like the first band that kind of felt, I was like the first band in that, you know, where you're like, wow, this is something really, really different. And like, this is not your standard band. And it kind of was like the beginning of that whole alternative thing. It kind of was the beginning of it. And this band is unbelievable. These 4 guys, like you guys have said, Eric Avery is part of that. He is a huge part of the band. He does these awesome bass lines that are so like hypnotic. And Perkins is an amazing drummer. I mean, they're a great rhythm section. And then, you know, it's awesome. I mean, they're a great band. It's always the 4 parts, you know, in every great band, it's always those 4 parts together that create the magic. And like, you know, when I first heard this album, I bought it because I read a review that said something about Led Zeppelin. And at that time, it was like, if someone said like they sounded kind of like Zeppelin, I was like, yeah, I'm in, I'll buy it. And so I bought it. And I just remember being like, well, I don't know if it really sounds like Zeppelin. Maybe it's a little bit Zeppelin-esque, but at times, but it's definitely different. And I remember Oceanside, you're hearing that 3,000, just being like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like, this is so cool. And kicking in like that after that kind of cool beginning. And like you guys said, there's Jane's at this time goes back and forth from like heavy pounding, like rock to it's like spreading out, and all of a sudden this kind of like goes glacial for a minute, and you're like, what's, you know, whoa, like, okay, they were rocking out hard in the last song, and all of a sudden it's just like it goes just, you know. So it's just, that's what I love about Jane's at this time. It was just so cool. You never knew what you were going to get, and then you always had the crazy Perry Farrell stuff going on, like so really I love both of these records a lot. Ocean Size, like you guys said, Ocean Size, Had a Dad, Summertime Rolls, Mountain Song, come on. Jane Says, amazing. Pink and a great closer. So awesome album. And then Ritual just like is like the cherry on top. Man, this album, just so many, like you guys were saying, so many little things in there. Like, you know, the whole thing that starts with the, you know, the whole speaking in Spanish thing where, like, you know, Juan es adicción, you know, and the, you know, señoras y señoras, you know, that we love your kids more than you do, or we have more something influence over your kids than you do, or something like that, but we love them. And just like, it's just so cool. And then you get the, like you said, Dave, you said something about like the, you know, talking about the pissing in a cup thing, and you get all these little things in there. And I love the first side is just like, pound, it just goes unbelievable. Stop, no one's leaving, ain't no right. I mean, just like nonstop. Been caught stealing, amazing. And then the second side is so cool. It's like all of a sudden she switches gears on the second side, and you get 3 days. I love things like, you know, 3 days is epic. Then she did, of course, and Classic Girl's a cool way to end the record. Like you said, somebody said it's pretty. It's a pretty song. It's very nice. So awesome records. Love them to death. They could have stopped after the first 3 albums and still be like a legendary, you know.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I think so.
Holy crap. All right, so Nothing Shocking's Tom's number 2 and Ritual's number 1. I'm going to go really quick. I don't really have to say much more than what the whole panel has said, but I had my ranking a little bit different, but I've changed my ranking. A lot of these rankings, I always change everything at the last minute. I am going to go exactly like, damn it, I'm going to put Nothing Shocking at number 2. It is phenomenal. I would probably give it a 9 out of 10. And then I'm going to go with Ritual as number 1. And I think that's damn near a perfect record for something that came out in this era. This is one of the best albums, bar none, of this whole era. Everybody on the panel nailed it. There's no, I mean, this is a studio album. No sophomore slump in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. Phenomenal. I'm not going to add anything to it. Our number 1 is Ritual. Number 2 for the most, and our number 2 is Nothing Shocking. And then you get the Strays and Great It just depends. But if you're going to get into this band, I highly recommend either one of these you could start with. And if you want physical media, these can usually be had pretty damn cheap. And if you find them, they used to be back in the day. I used to find them a lot. I haven't seen them so much anymore.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Cool.
What is that, West Coast Dave?
What is that?
It's a box set. It's got
Oh, nice.
Kettle Whistle. It's got Live in Hollywood.
Cool.
And then it's got
I had that.
those two. And then I also have this single of Been Caught Stealing, and it says it's stolen from KZSC, a radio station where my friend was the DJ right on it.
That's cool.
That is
Stole
cool.
it.
And it used to have handcuffs that were hanging there, but somebody stole those before I got my hands on it.
My God.
A lot of stealing.
And then I also have this box set right here that I was kind of showing off. This is called Cabinet of Curiosities, and it's got all kinds of stuff in there. Cards. It's got little voodoo dolls. Yeah, this is my band back then for sure.
All right, awesome. Well, we can wrap this dog up real quick because, well, we're at 120. Damn it, we've went long. Anybody have anything you want to promote real quick since, or 120, what the hell? John, the music, anything coming up on your channel that people should know about?
Oh, yeah. Next live cut will be on Saturday. Join Logan Collins and myself as we discuss the sensational Alex Harvey's band live. That will be on Saturday, September 27th.
Cool.
All right, cool. Webb, what's happening with you? Anything coming up?
Yeah, I'm on your show tomorrow for little known bands. Check it out. I got 3 good ones.
Shit,
And,
we got Webb on every day this damn week.
Yeah, it's my week. Yeah, you'll get sick of me. Oh, whatever.
That's all right. All right, I forgot. We'll be live tomorrow night. I think we're at 7 o'clock.
7. Yeah, 7 o'clock.
Webb better be ready to dazzle us, damn it. All right, so Webb will be tomorrow. West Coast Dave, anything else coming up for you? I forget. We just did a show tonight. Well, tell them everybody
That
what we
hasn't
just
aired yet, but yeah.
I know, but tell everybody what we just did.
Oh man, well I got punished in the comments for my fixed power windows for the first time, so I guess that means, yeah.
I gotta see that. I gotta watch that.
Everybody's like, you don't need to fix that album, and somebody said I was insufferable, so I hope
don't take it to heart.
The
The thing is that it depends upon when you come in on Rush. Some people love that stuff and thinks it absolutely perfection. It's Rush is touchy. Rush is
They don't want to
touchy.
hear otherwise, yeah.
They don't want to hear otherwise.
Yeah.
So I'll ban all those people that said stuff. All
And then
right.
you did a Guns N' Roses show before this one.
Yeah, we just did a Guns N' Roses show, Fix This Record. So get
I
ready
might
to
be on
give
Logan's
Dave Howell on that. Huh?
I might be on Logan's channel on his Rush show too. I got to get up at 9 though, and I'm going to see
I'm on
Robert
yeah.
the night before. So
I'm on Slogans with Rush.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on Logan's Rush show. It's sitting Yeah,
Me too.
Probably
Cool.
be
Yeah,
on
I don't even have to think about it. It's Rush. Let's go.
All right, Tom
Christina's gonna be
Curlis,
on
Tom Curlis, what's happened on Curlis Mania?
Next video coming up is Anthony Ferraro's joining me to do the first self-titled David Gilmour solo record. So we're going to be doing that. I don't know if I get my shit together, it'll probably be Thursday.
Cool. All right, cool, excellent. All right,
Yeah,
so
that's
please
awesome.
subscribe to John the Music Nuts channel and Tom Curlis's channel, Curlis Mania. Anyway, I know it's Brian. What are you doing? Damn it, you got something coming up?
Yeah, Sunday. No, Sunday I'll be on Slogans with Sydney and Logan and
Everybody's
Webb
on there.
and
Everybody's on there
Dave.
talking Rush.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be like 10 people.
only doing the first 6 albums.
All right, good luck. All right, everybody. I want to thank this whole panel: John the Music Nut, Webb, West Coast Dave, Tom Curlis, and Brian McFadden. We will be back. I don't know what's coming up. Well, you know what's coming up tomorrow. Whatever. Please like, subscribe.
Subscribe.
What? I gotta go. We're way late, kids. We're way late. All right. We will see you guys. Have a good one. Leave a comment down below. Have a good one.